Malaria has remained a public health concern in Nigeria as, according to report, it is more responsible for the mortality of under 5 children and pregnant women than other diseases. It is against this backdrop that Delta State Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and its partners, commenced the insecticide-treated net replacement campaign in the state. As part of efforts to ensure effective distribution of the insecticide-treated nets across the 25 local government areas of Delta State, a one-day orientation and review meeting on the 2025 Delta State Insecticide-Treated Nets campaign held at the State Secretariat, Asaba. The meeting was organized by the State Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and partners including the Global Fund, Society for Family Health, and the Catholic Relief Services. The State Malaria Elimination Program Manager, Dr. Julie Anya, said the insecticide-treated nets campaign, which had commenced since April 23rd, would run through June 5. Dr. Anya reminded participants of the Integrated Coordination Committee Network inauguration meeting, which was held during the last quarter of 2024, focusing on the insecticide-treated nets campaign micro-planning, noting that the meeting was part of efforts to ensure effective implementation. The state health educator, Ministry of Health, Mr. Emmanuel Odejero, said training for those who would be involved in the distribution and monitoring of the exercise, including civil society organizations and health educators, were ongoing and urged residents of the state to avail themselves when the distribution of the nets commenced.
And what we just did today is the ICCN committee. ICCN simply means Integrated Campaign Coordination Committee Network. Now these persons they just received training today. They are to go to the field and monitor those who are actually going to carry out the activities as far as the replacement campaign is concerned. The program actually started on the 23rd of last month. Different training has been going on. We first of all did what we call STOT. Then thereafter, they went to the local government to do local government cascade, where they trained health workers. As we speak, training has been completed in certain areas like the CSOs, the house-to-house mobilization, and other the health educators, and so on and so forth. Why this campaign, the distribution will actually commence on the 26th of May, and it will run through 30th of May. As we also speak, the nets have been moved from the state store to the various local governments of the 25 local governments of Delta State. Distribution is going to commence on the 26th to 30th of May 2025. Every person should please be it in the community, because the replacement mass campaign centers on rural and riverine areas. No child under 5 should do what should die. No pregnant woman should do what should die as a result of what? Malaria fever. And so we enjoy every Delta, wherever you are. As far as you live in the rural area, in the riverine area, make sure see it as your right to collect these nets. Now, this net will be placed not too far from you. We have what we call tokenization. This tokenization simply means before the nets will be distributed, you will be registered and a token will be generated where a slip, where the slip is like having your number that you now use to collect your what? Your nets.
The campaign manager, Delta Insecticide-Treated Nets Campaign Society for Family Health, Mr. Bue Denen Davis, and the technical advisor, Temitope Akintan, said the process involves household mobilization, tokenization, house marking, and dropping of revisit cards for households that would be absent during the visit, and the collection of the insecticide-treated nets upon presentation of assigned token at the designated collection sites.
Yes, we are aware that most times people take up these nets, but they don't use it for the purpose for which they are meant for. And then there have been some couple of complaints about the mosquito nets causing heat. like I always tell people, the mosquito nets have holes, and they can allow free passage of air in them. However, it is how people use them that makes them to feel that it causes heat. First, when people collect these nets, they don't air them properly, and so when they begin to use them, they may have those feelings, because one, when you collect the net, you're expected to air the net under the shade for 24 hours at least before you start using, and not under the sun. So some people collect and put under the sun, and sometimes the sun can have a chemical reaction with the insecticide on the net, and that could lead to some burning sensation, and people will say the net are causing heat or causing rashes. But when you air the net properly and you hang over your sleeping area, you sleep inside, um, you will not feel those burning sensation or those heat. Again, some people, when they hang up this net, they close up all the areas. You're supposed to open up the windows and allow for some form of ventilation or cross ventilation. So again, some people hang up the nets and there are no cross ventilation, so that can lead to people saying the nets are causing heat, but it is not actually the net that causes this heat. It's the way we use and care for the net. And then about usage, yes, we have a couple of challenge about usage. A lot of people collect this net and they use it for the purposes for which they are not meant for. Like we see people use it as goalpost to play football, soccer. We see people use it for fishing. We see people who also use it to cover their gardens. And sometimes I ask people this simple question: how does it profit you to use the net that is supposed to protect you and your family from malaria, and then you cover your crops, and at the end of the day you sell that crop, and then you use that money to treat malaria? It doesn't make sense. So why not use the net to protect yourself from malaria, so that the money you save, you will not use it for out-of-pocket treatment of malaria? So we have over 1,500 distribution points across all the states, and we also have over 5,000 household mobilizers who are expected to go around the various communities, and they are living in the community, so it makes it easier for them to be able to move within the riverine areas to ensure that all the households are being met and given this net. And we also request that all households who have these nets should go to the nearest distribution, because we have ensured that no distribution point is more than 3 kilometers away from where people reside. So we have these distribution points, and that's our strategy, and we are hoping that we will be able to achieve success at the end of the day.
Mobilization has commenced. Ensure that even if you are not at home, that you have somebody that is old enough to provide the required information, that our people, you will see them wearing apron. They will be moving from house to house to register households and issue a slip to them that contains series of number that will call token, which will enable them to get net when it is time for distribution. And also to tell the household that when it is time for distribution will start 26th of May. On the date that has been put on your net or your token slip, or even from 26th of May, you can go to your designated distribution point, ensure that you get your net, and when you get the net, ensure that you follow all the instructions that will be given to you for airing of the net for 24 hours, and you start using it. The end what we expect to happen at the end of collection is the utilization, which is the most important. We can distribute, currently we are going to be distributing 3.1 million of nets, worth of nets across the state, but it will amount to nothing if people get these nets and they don't sleep inside it. So after getting your net, ensure that you air it for 24 hours. By there you can start hanging and use, and ensure that you sleep inside the net every night to prevent you and your family from mosquitoes that spread malaria.
The participants were drawn from the relevant ministries in the state, including the Ministry of Health, Education, Information, as well as the National Orientation Agency and the media. Eunice Emeazia reported.